What is up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we have a brand new video. It's a huge announcement. Guilty Gear Strive finally released the patch notes version 1.10. It's a huge deal. Just came out, I think, a couple hours ago, not even, and it's set to go live on Friday. This is probably the biggest patch we've ever seen for Guilty Gear. We're gonna get right into it and take a look. This is going to be the biggest patch that Guilty Gear Strive has ever received. And when I mean biggest patch, I don't just mean a character balance change. I am talking about an entire overhaul. We're looking at a gameplay change, game mode change. We're looking at support for PlayStation 4 tournaments. We're looking at so many different things. This is going to be a very, very, very impactful patch. So let's get right into it. It says an update of version 1.10 will be released on October 15th for the PlayStation 4, 5, and Steam versions of Guilty Gear Strive, with battle balance adjustments and fixes for issues in each game mode. So we already know that. In our previous video that you guys had hopefully already seen, we mentioned that Guilty Gear was going to be getting a pretty big patch on Friday that was mentioning gameplay mechanic changes such as faultless defense, throw tech timing. So we're going to go over everything pretty much in depth. This video is going to be a little bit longer than maybe what you're used to, but it will be chaptered in sections in the video, so you'll be able to cut to certain topics if that's what you're looking for. Let's start off with general game modes. So they've added support for the PS4 event tournament feature. So pressing the triangle button at the main menu displays any upcoming PlayStation tournaments open to entry and will automatically match players with their opponents during supported tournaments. Huge deal. In different fighting games like Mortal Kombat, if you enter a ESL tournament or anything like that, it's usually done through the PlayStation's tournament feature, which is amazingly easy to matchmake with your tournaments. It literally puts you in a private lobby with your opponent automatically. It's super, super sick and quick. So people who are on PlayStation 4, rejoice. This is a huge deal for you guys. For PS5, they don't have the support yet, which is really unfortunate, but it is going to be something that's coming at a later date, I assume. It's just something that hasn't been integrated into PS5 yet, so it's just something we're gonna have to wait for. This is another huge deal. We're looking at a reduced network connection time upon login. Man, this is crazy. We're looking at a faster load time into Strive. It says here now for network mode, when the player's suggested floor is the Celestial floor, they will now begin matching on the Celestial floor after selecting Quick Start. I didn't even know that they matched you with floor 10s if you did Quick Start on Celestial. That's pretty gross, actually. That probably explains why there were a lot of Celestial players that were in floor 10 when they were in there, and that's probably why. It probably wasn't even them trying to go abuse lower ranked players. They probably were quick starting and were getting thrown down there. So I'm glad that that's been fixed. And now we're getting into the big shit. This is character balance and bugs fixes. Also, universal mechanics. Holy shit. And we got a list, ladies and gentlemen. We got a list before we get into that character balance. So let's take a look here. Universal mechanics, the overall changes. We've revised the overall functions of projectile special moves, aerial attacks, and anti-airs. Some projectile special moves now have less recovery, making them easier to use in neutral. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? For all of you guys wondering, well, what's a projectile special move? So a projectile special move is when you use a quarter circle move. You know, this can be a Z motion move, anything that's not a basic input that you would press. We're looking at Shoryuken, fireballs, stuff like that. But yeah, we're looking at pretty much just better fireballs. So they're safer and easier to use in neutral. So there you go. In accordance with this buff to projectiles, we've also increased the benefit gained from landing aerial attacks. Many characters can now deal more damage than before on counter hit. By increasing the number of moves that can be canceled into air dashes, it is now easier to launch an offensive after the opponent blocks your aerial attack. Okay, wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, so there's just gonna be a lot of air now. Anti-air attacks have also been buffed, in particular by increasing the reward gain from counter hit 6p, making it easier to include special moves. It was our intent to remove the disparity between characters when it came to their options after 6p. Okay, so like there isn't just some characters that can do some crazy stuff after 6p. A lot of characters now can do crazy stuff after 6p. They want to balance that. They want to make that more consistent. We have revised the startup of the fastest normal moves. Characters whose fastest moves had more startup than others now have faster startup on their P attacks, for example. They're essentially just saying that characters who had slower 5Ps are now going to have, you know, more equivalent to the fastest 5Ps in the game. So, you know, characters like Zato, he had a much slower 5P. It was about 6 frames. They can now be reducing that to about 4 frames and make it more consistent with characters like Chipp, who have very, very fast pokes. But yeah, it says it varies. This generally makes it so that characters can counter throws on wake up as a general rule. That's awesome. Input buffer. By increasing the time window for input buffering, it has been easier to act on the earliest possible frame. We had previously chosen to keep the time window limited, as making inputs at the correct time is a technique in and itself. However, we've increased the time window to account for play under different circumstances, such as offline matches. You know, buffering a move on meaty, it's harder to do under offline conditions. Essentially what they're saying is like, you know, when you're under a lot of stress, the timing is so tight that a lot of people are missing their buffers, and that's a problem. So they're fixing that. At least that's what I'm understanding from it. If you think there's, you know, a different meaning to that, then, you know, please post that in the comments down below. Start up for mix-up moves. We think of overheads in this game as falling into two categories. Overheads that are difficult to react to, for example, a standard dust attack, and overheads that are easily reacted to unless taken by surprise, for example, a fully charged dust attack. We've revised the startup frames for moves that fall in between these categories, which are various levels of difficult to react to depending on the player and the environment. So you guys know those crazy overhead moves that are super fast that aren't dust? We're gonna adjust those a little bit. We're gonna change those up a little bit and make it possibly a little bit easier to react to. Or if there are moves that are really slow, we might make them harder to react to. Things that are in the middle between a fully charged dust attack and a standard dust attack, we're going to be adjusting those. Throws. We've extended the throw time window for throw clashes, which previously only worked when input at the almost exact same time as the opponent's throw, as there were times when a clash would not even occur, even when the player successfully predicted the opponent's throw. This change makes it easier to counter opponent's throws with your own. That is amazing. It was really annoying when I was getting dash grabbed by Gio, and now I can actually tech it. That's what we love to hear. It is now possible to roaming cancel at any point during the animation of throws, excluding overdrives. That makes sense. It is possible to roaming cancel after an unsuccessful throw to cover up for the whiff recovery. This change makes it possible to spend meter to roaming cancel after a successful throw as well. Base damage scaling of special moves. Although this varies between characters, we have increased base damage scaling on strong offensive special moves and combo starter moves. So they've toned down the damage in some regard. You know, a lot of characters that were doing a lot of damage with these ultimates to finish off their opponent, they've really toned that down. So I'm super glad to hear that actually. Faultless defense. Previously, Faultless Defense had somewhat longer block stun than standard blocking. However, as it was not rewarding enough overall to spend tension gauge on, the block stun had to be changed to match standard blocking. For certain moves that don't cause significant knockback on block, Faultless Defense wouldn't open up much distance between the player and their opponent previously. There is now a minimum amount of distance that will be created when using Faultless Defense. Combined with the changes made to guard crush moves, there is now a greater merit to using Faultless Defense against any move. Changes to guard crush move. Okay. Wow. And then these are all the overall changes. Input buffer, throws, all type, counters, roaming cancel. We saw all this. We just talked about all this. But wait, there's a little bit more. Sorry, what does it say? It is no longer possible to activate roaming cancel during the dust attack follow-up. Bruh, that's not fun. Y'all didn't like Zato super dash? How am I gonna deal with Axl now, you cowards? Man, that's so unfortunate. Psych burst expanded the hitbox. That's awesome. I love that. Clash projectiles. When two projectiles clash, the projectile with a lower clash level will now be erased. What? That's cool. JS. This move now triggers the counter effect. Can now be jump canceled and air dash canceled. Added Gatling route to jump dust. Oh, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day, dude. That's sick. This says jump HS. This move now triggers the counter attack. Can now be jump canceled and air dash canceled as well. Add Gatling route jump. Oh, that's so cool. Jump dust. This move now triggers the counter attack. This does not apply to Kai and Jacko, but can now be jump canceled and air dash canceled. Oh my god, dude. I'm gonna be flying around, dude. That's so cool. Guard crush. The knockback caused by instant block and faultless defense will now change when guard crushed by opponent's attack. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you guys know what this is? That is a direct nerf to Garuda. That is the Garuda patch. All right, now we're getting into the good shit. We're looking at character balance now. In total, every character was touched. Every single one. So let's go through it. Soul Badguy, the villain of the story. They want to change how Bandit Revolver functions. While originally it could only be followed up on hit automatically, the follow-up hit can now be performed via manual input regardless of the situation. It can be now used in more ways, such as maximizing the reward of a counter hit from normal moves such as crouching S, as well as other uses outside of combos. In accordance to changes 6p in Bandit Revolver, wall bounce effect of 6p in the stage corner has been removed. No more wall bounce. So we're not just going to get completely destroyed in that aspect, but now he's getting access to major damage when he lands a clean hit off Volcanic Viper Heavy Slash version. Okay, so he got tuned. He didn't get nerfed, but he got tuned and they changed some of his stuff. They did give him a small buff. Why did they give him a small buff? I'm pretty sure he was already like the best character in the game, but maybe he needs it, because if they didn't buff him, then he would be low tier after this patch. It just sounds weird to me that like Soul gets any improvements in this patch. After already getting wild throw cancels with RC, like he was already still crazy, even after getting all those nerfs and adjustments. However, the high damage or practicality of 6p Volcanic Viper in the stage corner was so strong that there was no need to use other combo routes. We've revised this while also adding new combo parts. Bandit Bringer can now be followed up on counter hit, making it a more highly rewarding option. Fafnir has its base damage scaling has been increased, so it's not going to do as much damage. Night Raid Vortex increased base damage scaling. That's nice. Lowered attack level, reduced recovery time. Bandit hitbox in front and below on the second hit, increased distance from which the attack connects, increased base damage scaling. So I mean, he's just getting scaled. Like they're scaling his damage, but they're adding more utility to him, but also like nerfing his damage. So like he's gonna be able to do a lot more crazy things. His damage won't be as crazy, hopefully. That's kind of what I think they're trying to go for. So Kiske. Kai greatly benefits from the buff to projectile special move, as it is now easier to take control of neutral by using the stun edge as a poke. We had previously intentionally set relatively high recovery for projectiles to prevent making their ability to lock down their opponent too powerful. This resulted in stun edge having limited use, which was a stressful element of playing Kai. Okay, dude. They're just stun edge simulators. I don't know what you're talking about with that. Oh, stressful. Oh, I'm so stressed using my stun edge 10 times in a row. Oh, I'm so stressed. Oh, I don't know what I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like, what the heck are you talking about? We have reduced the overall length of the action while maintaining the original lockdown capabilities of the attack, making it easier to use in neutral. We have also increased the chip damage on block, making it more rewarding to make the opponent block stun edge in neutral. We have increased the benefits of using Dragon Install due to its comparatively low damage as an overdrive. Yeah, I don't know why Dragon Install is so shitty. No one's using Dragon Install. We gotta buff that shit. No one's using it. Let's fix that. Grounded stun edge increased the startup, reduced the recovery. Oh, it's slower. Oh, it's slower. Reduced recovery. But it's more plus. Increase the movement speed of the... Oh, no. Maybe I can stuff it out before it comes out, but the more I read, the more sad I get sometimes. Fujiark. Increase the scaling. You hear that? You can't use it a million times. Its damage is being scaled. You will do potato damage eventually if you keep using Fujiark. Sacred Edge. Increased movement speed. It's faster. The hitbox is faster. May. Please. I just want to see this character get nerfed into the dirt. I hate this character so much. These balance changes increase the return of landing aerial attacks. Combined with the additional Gatling routes for aerial normal moves, this greatly develops aerial combos. We adjusted the hit effects of uncharged 6HS as it was not commonly used and less rewarding than her other normals. Due to now being an easier to follow up on and overall damage increase, we have removed the wall bounce effect. Good. I'm sick of it. However, her combos in the stage corner remain powerful. It is now easier to combo from her sweep into Mr. Dolphin vertical. Previously, the counter strategy to Mr. Dolphin has been to beat it with fast moves such as standing P. However, in order to prepare more counters to lunging attacks, it is now more likely to lose the 6P. Get effed, you stupid character. I hate you. I'm a 6P the shit out of this character now. Oh, I love that shit. I don't care. Eat sand. Axl benefits greatly from the overall changes to fast normals and aerial attacks. As an example, on counter hit, his jump S can be followed up on using an air dash cancel. As his options after landing attack are more powerful, we've revised the function of each of his normals so that the player must use each of his aerial normals for distinct purpose. So they're making Axl actually be a little bit harder to play. That's what I'm sort of understanding from that little blurb. He's gonna have more of a purpose, which is neat. That's kind of cool. I always thought Axl was kind of a cool character, so I'm totally for this. Now let's see how broken Chipp's legs are. Alpha Blade is now easier to use in combos and strings. Combined with the changes to crouching HS, he now has more options to lead into combos mid-screen. Due to these changes and the ability to follow up after bounding off the stage corner, he has access to greater reward. His mix-up, however, has somewhat increased startup as it was overly influenced by individual reaction times and play environment. Yeah, that was literally all it was. No cap, like actually if you were good at reacting and if you were good at playing in a specific environment, then you could fight Chipp. So that's good. I'm very happy that they said that. They acknowledged that. It's literally just individual reaction. Alpha Blade, increased startup. Hell yeah, dude. Increased startup. I'm gonna just poke your ass now, dude. I'm gonna just hit you with the 5P because I can react to it now because it's slow as shit. Aerial Alpha Blade. Well, I hope they don't reduce the startup. Oh, that's fast as hell now. Shuriken. Increase the distance from the attack connects. Oh, no. Don't throw your goddamn biscuits at me, buddy. All right, Millia. Her special moves have been buffed overall due to Mirza and Turbo Fall becoming now special cancel. Wow, that's huge. Many characters gained access to forward air dashes for their aerial attacks. However, only Millia has gained access to aerial backdash cancels, which mainly strengthens her mix-up. Previously, her standing far S would beat most characters 6p. However, this has been made more difficult due to the buffs to the situation after that hits. The hurt box has been reduced to match this change. The changes to Miraza and Tandem Top make it easier to get higher returns. 6k can now be special cancelled and combos into Lust Shaker and other moves. Standing far S isn't going to beat my 6p anymore. That's sick. 6k can now be special cancelled and super cancelled. The opponent is now forced into a crouching state on grounded hit. No longer expands Millia's push box, preventing the opponent from being pushed away during the animation and increase. Whoa. So 6k, you can now special and super cancel it? That's nuts. Jump K can now be cancelled with air backdash. Jump S can now be cancelled with air back. Jump HS can now be cancelled with air backdash. Jump D can now be cancelled with air backdash. Tandem Top S, reduced startup. It's even faster now, bruh. Oh my god. You know, after reading a lot of like super depressing stuff, I really want to go through these Zato changes. These are some of the best changes I've seen on Zato in so long. Zato is going to be eating at 5-star buffets from now on with a suit, with a tall glass of wine. He is feasting on the best filet mignon that money can buy. And on top of that, he didn't have to pay for This is a very, very good buff. Zato 1. The amount of Eddie gauge expanded for command inputs while Eddie is summoned has been decreased. Although Zato will perform motions on activation well, this opens up new potential setups with Eddie. Cool. The range of Invite to Hell has been improved, as it will often fail to connect with when canceled into from normal. Can you imagine? Invite to Hell, as active as it fucking was, they're like, you know, it didn't have enough range. Can you imagine? I can zone with it. Y'all are in trouble because I can zone with Invite to Hell now. Hell yeah. Yeah, so 6k can now be special canceled to distinguish its use from Dust Attack. Its startup is longer, making it easier to block, but Zato faces less risk doing it solo and can follow up with further setups while using it in tandem with Eddie. Isn't that so cool? I can now special cancel 6k. 6k, for those who don't know, is the overhead chop attack. Used a lot in corner mix-ups to break guard with an overhead, but it doesn't even matter now if I do that because I can just 6k into Eddie summon, I can 6k into frog, I can 6k into drill, I get 6k into oppose. I have no fear anymore. So let's read his actual overall notes. Dash, reduce the upper hurt box directly after the animation starts. Awesome. Standing P, decrease startup. Faster 5p. Let's go. 6k. Now can be special canceled and super canceled. Oh, did they mention I can also super after 6k? Get hit with that slow overhead in the corner and I can just super into drill and be fine. Invite Hell. Expanded the hitbox front and behind. Giant ass puddle now. Sun Void, all versions, no longer reduces the number of attacks to the opponent when it hits anything other than the opponent. Yo, my boy Zato, he's eating. Ramlethal Valentine, look at that whole page of... Oh my god. Wow, this is a lot. Yeah, let's see. Due to the reduction of knockback for standing 4S, it is easier to connect into Daro on cancel. Okay. Properties of Jump HS and Jump Dust have been adjusted to the large benefit gained from additional Gatling route. Due to being an overhead, it was difficult to buff Sledo Detruo. It was useful in limited situations, but making it a mid, it can now be used more freely in neutral and strength. So that's a buff. Benjanetto. Fix the location on the ground where it will be set after touching the stage corner. Just sending out the sword if Ramlethal takes damage before it reaches the stage corner. The sword will no longer explode when it reaches the stage corner. What? You're telling me this stupid f***ing character is not going to get to pressure for free anymore? So when she shoots a sword, if you poke her, the sword won't explode. That's amazing. If you trade a hit with Ram and she shoots you into the corner but you traded, that sword will not explode. That is a godlike nerf. Calvados, increased clash level, reduced recovery, added guard crush effect to the final hit. Why? Oh my god. Let's go see what Mr. Leo Whitefang has got. So Leo, the timing he can cancel into guard point, follow-up moves have been sped up due to the long overall recovery of standing 4S and standing HS. 6HS can now be comboed into from crouching HS, counter hit, and other moves. Why? Why? Yo, why is this man at the same table as me, huh? Turbulence, increased base damage scaling. Nice. I like that they're increasing this damage scaling on a lot of his dumb shit. P during Brian Hilder stance no longer can be jump canceled. Good. Nago, Shizuriyuki has been greatly changed from its former function, and the downward swing can now be manually activated by HS button input. With buff to the startup time, it's now easier to use as an anti-air punish. God damn it, he already had good anti-air stuff. That makes me sad. Zarmayuki is now a powerful option in neutral and strings at mid-range. God damn it, they buffed this guy again, bro. He was already nutty. He's already nutty! He's already good! Why? Giovanna. She can now quickly perform normals after her dash, greatly improving her neutral, her setups, and her strings overall. Why? Why does she need that? Crouching S would sometimes whiff oddly depending on the opponent's character after counter hit, so we improved its range. Why? Alright, Anji, you got buffed. So we've revised the properties of Shisu so that it can be used outside of Okizame. It can be cancelled into from normals and used at mid-range more easily. Standard throw has also been changed in accordance with Shitsu, making it easier to carry the opponent into the stage corner. By making the startup of Fujin faster, it can now be linked into from far standing S and crouching S. Okay, so Fujin's getting a little bit more utility here. Ko is now easier to use in combos and also stronger as an anti-air. As the opponent floats less, jump attacks after Ko can connect more easily. As the second hit now causes guard crush, can now also continue our offense when the opponent blocks it. We have addressed the problem where his 6P would struggle to connect due to being shorter horizontally than the other character. Interesting. He got a big buff actually. Ino. Standing far S now works better as a preemptive poke. I thought it said preemptive joke. The hitbox has been expanded with a little change to the hurt box. Although it doesn't lead to a major direct reward, it works well as a poke against opponents who are watching for a hover dash. What? Oh, interesting. Antidepressant scale has been changed to be more useful in neutral while remaining strong as an Oki. I'm actually interested in how that's going to change like your guessing with her, because now a lot of her stuff is she's going to be like sort of poking, you know, seeing if you're going to make any options instead of committing to just those mix-ups. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm actually really curious. Goldlewis. Using aerial Behemoth Typhoon from an air dash allows him to move an extremely long distance, which combined with the changes to his forward dash, Sharpbox significantly improves his ability to approach from a distance. As Skyfish was previously safe to use at a low security level, it is now possible to cancel the animation with an additional input to address this issue. You can cancel minigun now? Oh no. The reduction of this startup also makes it powerful in both neutral and combos. Okay, he got buffed, man. Reduced startup when activating at a security level above 2 can now cancel the action by pressing the S button when activating at a security level above 2. Okay, so I mean, it can only be canceled when he has security level 2, but I mean, that's still scary. Like, he could shoot a minigun at you, have full security, and then just cancel it. Like, that's really, really scary. I wonder what that'll do to his security level if he does that. Does it decrease his security level more? Does it pause his use of security? I don't know. I don't know how that mechanic really works, so that's it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Okay, so for Jacko, it's now easier for her standing HS to connect after the edge of her standing far S hit. Changing inputs regarding her servants made it easier to actually avoid accidentally performing other attack, while also improving ease of execution. She can now perform overdrives even while lifting a servant. That is so effed up. She can now quickly punish the opponent with Forever Elysian Driver and perform new set play using Cheer Servant on. That is so effed up. Essentially, when she's holding her little minion above her head, like, hey, here's my boy that I'm gonna throw at you, she could be like, just kidding, I'm ulting you, you're getting f***ed up right now. And that is super scary. Crouching at chest, increase the scaling. Good. I like seeing increased scaling. That just makes me very happy. Recover Servant no longer activates when an upwards direction is being inputted while lifting a servant. Attack Command no longer activates when an upwards direction is being inputted while lifting a servant. Defend Command no longer activates when an upwards direction is being inputted while lifting a servant. So you can't really negative edge those abilities as much anymore, right? I think that's what that is. I mean, it's defining Jacko more as a character and what her purpose is as a character in this game, and that's essentially what we're seeing here. That's it. That's all the notes they really gave us, and it's a lot. I mean, essentially, I think a lot of this I'm probably gonna not remember off the first time us reading this. I think there's gonna be times where I'm gonna have to go back and I'm gonna be talking with people who are playing these characters, and we're gonna have to sort of see, you know, sort of wrapping this whole list up after reading it through pretty thoroughly. I can say that the game mode changes are going to be very significant. They're fixing the network mode, which is obviously a fantastic change. The input buffer window is amazing. The throw tech window change is amazing. I really love both of those changes a lot. As for character changes, I think Souls was a little weird. I don't know why they would buff him when he's already so strong. Kai, on the other hand, I think it's interesting that he got some changes. They definitely buffed Dragon Install, so that's definitely a plus. If you're a Kai player and hate how your Dragon Install is, they're just going to keep buffing it, so enjoy that. As for Mei, I'm super glad with the nerfs that they'd applied to the character. I love that I can now consistently 6p the character coming Friday. It's going to be very good. As for Axl, tweaks, just a few tweaks. And I don't think there's anything really to say too much other than, you know, he's just getting some light balance changes. I don't think it's going to affect the gameplay too much when fighting Axl. It'll be interesting to see how Axl's sort of play their more defined character now, but as terms of matchups for us, I don't think much is going to change too much on how you approach the Axl matchup and how you fight Axl. As for Chipp, Chipp definitely got a big slap in the fucking face. He got his arms broken. They definitely came back for him after he was sitting down with broken legs, and they came for the other limbs as well. Being able to now have a possibly quicker reaction time to Alpha Blade on the ground is amazing. I'm super excited for that. If you're a Chipp player, I know you're probably pretty upset, but that's just what it is. You know, it is what it is. You did also get a few adjustments to make it so you're not going to get counter hit as easily, which is kind of how a lot of the damage in this game happens. So I wouldn't be crying too hard. You're getting adjustments, but I wouldn't say that your character is the worst character in the game after this adjustment. Faust getting toned down and nerfed again. Pretty sad, because I don't think development team really knows what they want to do with Faust yet. I think it's kind of up in the air, and I also think that, like, because of that, Faust is getting some really weird changes. He's not like they're like, oh, let's break his legs here, but like let's also like increase this and make his anti-air capabilities better. It's just really interesting. Millia, on the other hand, some nice basic adjustments. The character's kit, the tandem top, and the movement buffs are really nice to see, because that means you're going to see a lot more creative combos and stuff, which is really cool. Zato, you know we're eating nice. I'm sitting in my brand new Lamborghini, getting ready to go to this 5-star restaurant, take 3 of my prized yachts with triple helicopter pads out. It's just, we're living the best life, dude. Zato, I think, personally got some of the best buffs and best changes out of any of the characters. He's really just not seen any nerfs. Like, there's no nerfs here. This is just all improvements to the character to make him better at what he does and make him more effective at what he does. And I really like that. Ramlethal, I don't know how to feel on this, because like I think Ram, while getting some nerfs, also got a few buffs. I think that the characters probably just got like tuned a little bit. I don't think it's going to be something super drastic. Maybe the reflection of sort of how the overall system changes come into play and complement each character as well. That could pose some downsides for Ram, but I'm still not sure yet. Leo, on the other hand, they didn't need to buff him. They did anyways. Nago, on the other hand, they didn't need to buff him, and they did anyways. Gio got a dash buff and a few other stuff like that. It really just seemed like only improvements for Gio. There wasn't really a ton of like nerfs, like big nerfs. There was some reduced knockback stuff or increased knockback, but it wasn't like that big. She got pretty buffed, like, but anyways, whatever. Anji sitting at the table now. He's got some pretty interesting improvements to his kit. Looking forward to seeing how players are sort of gonna, you know, take Anji to the next level. Ino as well got some pretty good improvements, and I'm looking forward to seeing those as well. Goldlewis, he did get buffed. Goldlewis is kind of annoying to deal with. You know, I think he definitely needed some sort of improvement, so I'm glad to see that. And Jacko is going to be really scary for those who are actually committing with the character. I'm really curious to see how Jacko competes now with this new patch, plus with the new mechanic changes and her balance patch. It's gonna be very interesting. That pretty much sums it up for me today. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and comment down below what you guys think about the patch and what you're looking forward to the most. We stream every day at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's just, you know, the regular, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much.